Hi, this is Skeets with Frankenschwein Barbecue. I'm doing this video on my ugly drum smoker that I built this winter with my son. There's plenty of videos on YouTube about building them, but I couldn't find a whole lot about operation or upgrades or tweaks that might make it a better smoker. So hopefully this information will help you, and we'll get started as soon as I reposition the camera. Okay, let's get started. As you can see, basically what I did was went on YouTube and found all the videos and tried to duplicate what I thought was best, and yeah, you probably noticed this one on another video somebody else made. I just copied that and just tried to take all the best ideas, what I thought was the best ideas from the videos on YouTube, and kind of combined them into one drum smoker. So when I first started using it, it seemed like I wasn't getting enough air. So if you look at these valves, you know, even though the pipe is probably inside diameter is probably the size of your thumb, by the time you get these ball valves on there, the hole is only about the size of your little finger. So if you've got two, I added another one down here because I wasn't getting enough air, so you got four of them. So basically the air you got coming into your drum is four little fingers. So that looks, it's probably a square inch, you know, of air coming in is all that's allowed to come in. So it seemed like it wasn't getting enough air. So what I did was went on YouTube, or went on eBay, I mean, and I bought one of these, I don't know what you call them, butterfly vents. You know, it opens and closes to let more air in, because I didn't feel like I was getting much air. I've got it set now to about halfway open. While I got this bent over, I'll show you. Basically just welded a couple L brackets on here, but the bottom of the drum is not flat, so these L brackets, after I welded them, was sitting out like this at an angle. And I had at that time I didn't have a whole axle all the way across. I just had them bolted to these, and it made the wheels sit not perpendicular to the drum, kind of looked like the front end of a stock car. So what I did was I put a bar clamp on these two and pulled them until they were up, straight up and down. I have an all thread, which is a rod with thread all the way across, as an axle. And then I have this aluminum tubing that I used as a spacers. So once you put the nut on here, if you get your links to your, and you've got your bar clamp on here, you can bolt it all together, and basically this all thread with these two nuts on the side end will keep these two brackets parallel, so you don't have that weird looking wheel sensation. So that's basically how the axle is configured. Just drill a hole in both of these and run the rod through. So that really helped with the air flow. Another video I seen on YouTube was these shelf brackets adjusters, which, you know, you never know if you're going to cook a couple butts or 4 butts. So, you know, the Rex has got, to me, just putting a screw in, and you gotta kind of live with where you put the screws at as far as where your grates are going to go. So I thought this was a better idea with these adjustable shelf brackets. Basically these are just a shelf bracket that I've whacked off. Get them at Lowe's. By the way, you get that vent off eBay. It's a 7¼ inch off eBay, but then you can put your shelves, adjust them, and your water. I always cook with a water pan. You can adjust your water pan if you're just doing one rack with ribs or 2 racks with 4 butts or whatever combination. You can set these wherever you want them and put your grate on them. A lot of times, sometimes it's you get into a situation if there's not a lot of light, you know, and you can't see in here. It's pitch dark. So what I did, I took the Dremel tool and I put some marks here, 3 marks on each one. So instead of counting down each slot where you want to put your bracket, you can just go like this one's right below that mark, or this one's 2 below the bottom mark. It makes it a lot quicker and easier to locate these grate brackets without using up a lot of time, and it's just a lot easier, I found. So it's another upgrade. I always use digital thermometer, one for the meat, one for the put copper inserts in here so the hole in your drum don't cut the wire up. Nice and soft and won't burr up your wire. These, you know, just like the other guy said in the video, you get these from Amazon. You put the oven gasket around the edge. My opinion now, afterwards, is you could probably do away with this stuff. Once you get your airflow set at the bottom, you know, you don't need these. These are kind of expensive, these ball valves. It's just another cost that you don't need. Use the big vent on the bottom, get it adjusted, tweak it where you want it. And I adjust the temperature by letting out more or less air. That's, you know, if the air don't come out the top, it's not going to go in the bottom. So get your vent set, and then you just, you know, if you've ever noticed, you open this drum lid and the coals take, I mean, they go in fast gear. They just go. You know, that's because they're getting all this air. So the more air, the hotter it's going to get, and the quicker it's going to burn. So control your burn rate by how much air you let out. That determines how much air is let in down there. Just use plywood on this with the regular Lowe's shelf brackets underneath. I don't know if you can see them, but they're just the hinge. I just looked at the one that the fella made on YouTube and tried to duplicate it. That was probably the hardest part. You got to make cardboard patterns, and basically this is just 2 pieces of angle iron that I've welded down the middle to make a U, because it's hard to find U brackets or U iron that will fit right directly inside the other one. So you have to use 2 different pieces of iron, weld it down the middle. That way you can either cut this shorter and make it smaller so it fits in here inside. Basically the same thing on the back. It's just a U channel. I don't know if you can see it welded to the drum. Just fits inside here, and then you put 2 screws, and I had to cut that open. You know, you kind of just adjust as you go, tweak it as you go. But this is basically a exhaust pipe extension from AutoZone, is all that is. I just took a grinder and cut a slit in here so I could operate this vent. I went a long time without this, and I would just set something over the end of that pipe. That's a pipe. This is a pipe welded to this drum lid. And I would just set something on it to restrict the airflow, but then I decided just to go ahead and kind of rig this thing up where I can adjust how much air gets in and out. Of course, you use heat resistant paint, you know, for engines or headers. You know, you get that at AutoZone. You know, you got to use that on the drum and the lid. A little handle so I can pull it around. Just bought one of these little rack holders. Put it there to hold your utensils. Basically, this was a food grade drum that my son got from work, but it had paint on the inside. I thought it would be bare metal being food grade, but it wasn't. So I had to take a weed burner, propane weed burner, which you can buy at Harbor Freight, 20 bucks. I burned all the paint off the outside. It had paint on the inside. I burned all that paint off, and then I sanded the whole inside down to the bare metal, and then coated it with vegetable oil. It looks like it's got paint on it, but it's just smoke, heat. So basically, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I really feel like you could do away with these pipes and ball valves and just go with the vent on the bottom. Now, as far as the charcoal baskets, everybody has seen the standard charcoal basket on YouTube. Here's what they look like. Everybody's got their own version, but this is what I made. I made it with 3 legs, but this aluminum pan started warping real bad, so I had to put a couple more legs and pull it up to this grid to keep it flat. But that's pretty much your charcoal basket. And you know, everything I've seen on YouTube, you fill it up, you know, however high you want with charcoal, and then you get your coal started in a chimney, and put your wood on top, and then you pour your charcoal on top. Well, you know, this is a big surface area, so let's, you know, basically what you do when you're smoking is low and slow. So you only need, you know, I cook at 225 degrees. You know, if you want more or a little higher, that's fine, but you only need, let's say 260 degrees is the most you'll ever need. Well, all this whole surface area on fire, charcoal's on fire, you know, it might make 400 degrees or 450, I don't know, but that's a lot of surface area to be burning. You're just making heat. You know, you're not going to cook any longer, because as the coals burn down, it don't matter if it's this big or if it's this big, it's going to burn down pretty much the same rate. So you're just going to have a lot more heat that you're not going to be using. So what I started doing was, I just got a cheapo metal paint bucket, drill a hole in the end, and put that over there like that. So that gives you less. Then if you put the coals in here, you got less heat. Still going to burn down at the same rate, but you got less heat. So what I did in the beginning was, you know, I'd fill it up 3/4 of the way with charcoal, and then I'd put my wood blocks on top, and then I would pour my chimney on top of the wood blocks. Well, before I could get it down in the tub, get my brackets on, get my water. I always use a water pan. I'll show you that. Before I get the water pan in, I'd have smoke up in my, whoopsie. Oh, shit. Yeah, dang it. I'd have smoke up in my face. I just hit the camera with my hand, so that's that bobble. I'd have smoke pouring out of this thing before I could get everything, the meat in, the racks, the water pan and everything. So I started putting the wood chunks down lower and then put one row of charcoal over the top of them, so when I poured my coals from the chimney in, they wouldn't start burning right away. So that pretty much took care of that problem. But what I want to do is load this this basket with charcoal and show you how I do it now, which I feel like is a much better idea. I'll have to stop the camera, but we'll show you how it goes. So basically, you know, you put your tray in. That's the thing too about these brackets. You can't have them in there while you're trying to pull this out or put it in, because it makes it real hard to get in and out, because it gives you less room to get it down in there. But you know, then you just put your shelf brackets in. And according to the marks, or wherever you want to put them, then you take your grate and put it in there. And you put the water pan. And I always use one of these. Fill up the water pan. Then you put in more, depending on what you're going to cook, more of these grate clips. Oh, you know, depending if you want how many racks you want in there, how much you're cooking for a big party. Put you another one. You can lower the water rack and give you more room in here. Something else, you can put another rack, so you got 2 racks to cook on. Something else I wanted to do was I wanted to be able to grill, use this as a grill too, and so I got this. This is a 22-inch grill with a tripod legs on it. You throw the legs away. You set that in there. Then you take another, if you're wanting to grill. Well, let's redo this. Turn this upside down. Set that in there. So now you can put your coals in there. You can grill hamburgers, whatever, steaks. You can close the lid, keep some heat in while you're grilling. And that makes it more of an all-purpose thing where you can grill, smoke, everything. So that's pretty much it for the smoker. I want to show you how I load the basket. It's, I think, a lot better idea than the normal way. Let me get it loaded, and I'll get back to you as soon as I get it loaded. Okay, we're back. As you can see, I've loaded the basket with charcoal, and you can see this. Now this, if you're only wanting to burn 4 or 5 hours, see, it'll burn around. First of all, you take your coals and put them in your chimney, get them lit. Then you pour them in here, okay? If you have 2 of these, you can put the other one right here, like so. And you can pull this out, and then the hot coals will connect to these coals, and it'll start burning this away, all the way around, which gives you, as far as I'm concerned, a lot more time. See, it can burn all the way around. If you don't have this in, you can put more coals. It can burn all the way around to here. You know, about this much the other day burnt about 6 hours, 6.5 hours. So if you went the rest of the way, you know, I don't know. I've never had to burn 12 hours, but you just have to play with it. You know, if you cut the air down, it's going to burn slower. More air, it's going to burn faster. So, you know, you can regulate it like that. If you want to burn even less, you know, 3 hours, put this thing over here and just burn from here to there. But like I said, if you stick this in right like that, let's say you had the coals all the way to here. You pour your chimney coals in here, and then you just pull this out. You leave this in, and it'll start burning here all the way around to here. So the length of burn you can control. It's up about 3/4 of a way, so it's not going to burn from the top down. It's going to burn this way. So I feel like this is a better way. Now, as far as smoking, this way also you don't get the smoke right up in your face. You got about a layer of coals here before it gets to the wood. You put your wood in, depending on how long you want to smoke. You know, you stop the wood where you want to stop smoking. You know, if you want to smoke for 12 hours, which I don't know anybody that does that, but you can put wood all the way around. You know, I don't know. Everybody has a different way. You know, I like usually to smoke 3 hours or so. You know, they say anything over 2 hours, it's not going to get into the meat anyway after that. So, you know, there's no need to smoke for 12 hours. But I think this is about 3 hours here. And then you're into nothing but coals, so you don't get any more smoke the rest of your burn. So that seems to be working pretty good for me. If you want more heat, I guess you could put the coals up to here. That would give you more surface area burning at a time. It would raise the heat. You know, maybe you wouldn't need that many coals. You know, you only got to get to 250 to 260 degrees. You know, like I said before, I smoke at 225, but you want a little buffer zone there, I guess. But that's my take on the charcoal basket. And like I said, you need 2 of these. You need 2 of those if you want to do a shorter burn. One's got to be where you want the burn to stop, and one's got to hold these coals in place after you pull this out. So once you pull this out, the hot coals will be right here, and they'll start burning this away. And that's about it as far as my ugly drum smoker. Hope it helped. Thanks.